So, I officially handed in my letter of resignation at my corporate office-based job last week.
I've officially resigned.
So I didn't exactly hand in my letter of resignation, rather clicked send on an email. But before I get into that, I'm Maz. This is my Pottery studio. And today I need to start painting all these jugs. And I thought I'd talk to you whilst I painted them. If you've watched my last couple videos, you'll know that I'm a ceramic artist who's trying to finally get their business off the ground. I haven't posted a YouTube video in a while because, to be completely honest, I've not been feeling my best mental health wise. The style I was trying out with my last two videos is more of like a cinematic vlog type vibe, and the planning, storyboarding, filming and editing process, just to be quite honest, the length of time it took me got a little bit ridiculous. I have both autism and ADHD, so when the special interest and the hyperfocus align, I can be a bit, well, intense. The last video I made, for example, in that style, from sort of the, coming up with the idea, to the planning, filming, editing, I'm embarrassed to admit, took me around about 30 hours to create from start to finish, which is someone who wants to have a business doing ceramic art and not videography is just quite unmanageable and not a great use of my time. So I've kind of been putting off creating any more YouTube videos because I know that really I need to sort of sit down and work out what style of video I can make that means I can consistently post and doesn't take up too much of my sort of creative business time. So I still want to use my YouTube channel to document my journey as I try and get my art business finally off of the ground, but I'm going to be doing it in this more sort of simplistic vlog style vibe, or whatever you'd call this style that I'm in right now. So moving on to the big scary moment where I decided to take this leap and move into this new chapter of my life. As I mentioned, my part-time corporate job is mainly remote, so I didn't have much of a choice other than to send my letter of resignation in as an email because no one was about to do it in person. I have just written out my letter of resignation for my part-time job, and I am just sat here taking in a moment before I click send. Yeah, it feels very surreal right now. I can't believe I'm actually about to resign from my part-time job to try and pursue doing my pottery ceramic art business full-time. I've popped you over here so you've got a better view of the moment in which I officially enter a new chapter of my life. Right, we're ready. Gonna do a countdown. 3, 2, oh my god. Right, okay. I'm just gonna have to reread it again. I didn't expect this to be so hard. I'm genuinely like having a little internal panic. It's just so permanent. Yeah. I feel like doing the countdown made it worse. 3, 2, 1. It's done. It's sent. I've officially resigned. It's one of those things where I think I've pictured this moment for such a long time, and in my head the ideal scenario would be that I would be quitting my part-time job because I was actually making an income from my ceramic art business and was in a position where if I, things were really taken off with that and I just did not have time to do this job and I, was leaving this making some money even if it was just paying for itself. I'm not in that position. Why I handed my notice in isn't a story I feel like I need to share in its entirety, but the general gist of it is I hadn't been happy in that job for a long time, to be honest. I think fundamentally my neurospicy brain just does not suit being in a corporate office environment like that. I mean, it's fairly widely understood that for the most part, that kind of environment isn't accessible or sort of neurodivergent friendly. You just have to look at the fluorescent lighting that they insist on attaching to every available ceiling tile. Even with reasonable adjustments in place, which are a whole other challenge in themselves, it's still hard. Basically, it reached a point where I was having so many panic attacks, meltdowns and shutdowns that job just stopped being worth the impact it was having on my mental health and well-being. Fortunately, for the first time in my life, I'm in the position where, thanks to my husband's support, I can actually afford to take this risk, something which I know is a privilege and is something I will be eternally grateful for. So regards what happens now, I'm currently working out my notice period at my job. I'm working with a mentorship program to help with starting a business from scratch, something that gives me a lot of help planning and sort of getting an idea of what it is I want my business to look like and how I want it to run every day. And it's given me that much needed accountability, which my dopamine chasing brain desperately needs. You know what, it's actually like super hot in here. As the sun's come out and my studio is just heating up like a microwave or something. I think I'm gonna have to open the doors. Ignore my socks and sandals. I don't know if you can see them in the video, but you know, I didn't think through that part of my outfit. To be quite honest, I just feel a bit self-conscious. People are gonna be able to hear me, but don't have much of a choice now. The temperature's gone right up. There we go, new angle, as you've probably been able to tell. I'm currently painting my pieces for my new collection, and I'm on this bit of a deadline at the moment because I've got a glaze firing booked in, and because I use a kiln firing service, basically I can only use it when they've obviously got availability, and as it's coming into the summer and the school summer holidays, they've got a lot of workshops booked in. So I tried ringing up to be like, can we push it back? I'm not going to have them already. And yeah, very nicely said no, because they're booked all the way through August. So I'm just gonna have to suck it up and not have a social life for the next couple weeks to try and get as much stuff painted as I can. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. And then once that deadline that's looming over me is out the way, that's at the end of this month, so it will also coincide with me doing the last week of my part-time job. So once those things are out the way, I'll be officially doing this full-time, which is just surreal to think about. But going into that, I want to dedicate a decent amount of time to planning, because that is a weak area for me, unsurprisingly, with my ADHD. As much as the autism loves a plan, the ADHD is just there, constantly battling out with it. And sadly, more often than most, the ADHD wins. I chase the dopamine, and yeah, I just don't have much of a plan. I'm not very organised, and so knowing that about myself, I want to make sure that when I'm going into doing this business full time, I've really dedicated a decent amount of time to planning, making sure that I know where I'm going, I know what I'm sort of focusing on every week, and just have that real, you know, sort of clear plan ahead of me for once in my life. Sorry, I'm really distracted by a spider right now that is climbing up the windowsill. Can you see it? I'm back. Trying to not get distracted by the spider crawling on my window. Can't even remember what I was saying. Something about planning and not being very good at it and never investing any time in it in the past. Basically sums it up. So regards what I've done so far, I did release a collection back sort of in September, October time in 2023. And I also set up an online shop and website called mazmash.com if you want to check it out. I had a fairly successful market store, and then I made some online sales as well, which was very exciting. Then after that, I had a commission for some candlestick holders, which was really exciting because that was my first professional commission I'd ever had. And I really enjoyed the challenge of that. It was really, I feel like it pushed me quite a lot as a potter, and creating that many pieces that are all sort of the same size, being able to, you know, sort of push myself creatively, I guess. Then I had another commission to create some mugs, which again was very exciting. And then after that, my mental health, as I've alluded to, took a bit of a dip. And then, yeah, I just have got very lost in just trying to survive each day, get through work. I've obviously done a significant amount of making, and I have bisque fired 2 collections worth of stuff, but it's the time frame from sort of like September, October time of 2023. I'm only now sort of at the point where I'm painting the next collection. So from that we can gather I've not been in a great place for a while. Essentially trying to balance my part-time job, my mental health and sort of challenges I face with my disabilities, and trying to get my ceramic art business off the ground just hasn't been manageable. So I'm going to be using this channel to document my journey as I plan the sort of launch of my full-time ceramic art business, and document the ups and inevitable downs that are going to be facing me on this path ahead. But hopefully and finally I will achieve this dream of having a thriving full-time ceramic art business, which feels sort of scary to say out loud. So I finished painting all of the base coats on my jugs, and that is everything that I wanted to update you on today. May the countdown begin for my first day as a full-time ceramic artist. Still a lot to process and get my head around, but I will be back soon with another video. Thanks for watching. Bye.